which we saw earlier.
Yes, I used it without talking.
That's right. And the Inferno crate, which we would have seen had you not died because you're a terrible Ratchet and Clank player.
But we'll see it soon.
We will see it soon.
Of course, I have to run back to the start and get some more ammo.
Also, I hate those goblin guys. Just please get them off screen as fast as possible.
Because they
are riddled with bugs.
Oh, okay. I understand. I get what you're saying, Tony. Oh, thank God for the max out the ammo button. Oh, I can't believe we're actually... this is going to be half as painful as the last game, I think.
I remember we talked about how much Ted hates foot sliding. Cannot stand it. Big pet peeve with Ted. Yes. Those goblins, gigantic feet. Obviously, I'm the one who's given the task of making them not foot slide. And dear God.
And they're still
please
foot
just kill them. Just please kill them.
Okay, I'll kill them right now.
They're so horrible. They're so bad. I hate these guys so much.
Are you seeing lots of bugs just as you look at them right now?
I'm really not happy with them. I'm just not. I don't know why. I don't even know if I could have really done them better at the time. I'm just not happy with the way they turned out. I've played this level again recently, not for the podcast, just for me. And it was so hard to see those guys. I felt really bad.
If I remember correctly, the boomerang that they throw had a lot of iteration done on it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really dark for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, we don't give the enemies... I mean, we've never done a boomerang before.
And it's hard to read a boomerang as a player.
Exactly, because it doesn't come straight at the player. It comes in an arc. And to get the player to read when it's gonna hit them is very difficult.
Exactly. The player's not really sure what question you're asking him.
And it's also, I mean, you also lose sight of it a lot, and so it has to have that big, bright contrail on it, and even that just helps a bit. And so there's a lot to it in terms of making sure the player always sees where it is in the world, for one,
right,
and what its path is and where it's going to go. Because you can move out of the way, but I mean, you have to know where it was aimed at to really get out of the way.
Is that why, in general, they come up and melee attack you instead?
No, I think we just wanted some diversity. We didn't want them all to be ranged enemies.
Got it.
But rather than have a ranged and a different melee enemy, we just had the goblins.
And that's always really hard to do because it's difficult to make the player understand which mode they're in.
Yes, exactly.
I remember when we were focus testing this level, we got a disc where the light on this ladder was broken, so the ladder was pitch black against the wall. And oh my God, it was so painful because the kids would run up here and they were like, "Oh, I saw guys come in this way. I should be. What's going on? I'm so lost." And then they'd run around and we had to come up and say, "Look, there's a ladder over here." And this is the first ladder you use in the game too. It's so mean. Oh God, it's so dark. I don't know what's going on.
So another little bit of trivia about this level is this was the first level at Insomniac. Insomniac is a company that used their brand new level editing tool that was being written as this game was being done.
Phoenix.
Now,
are you sure you want to talk about Phoenix without violating our don't talk?
Yeah, I do. I think. It's important, right? I mean, up until this point, all of Insomniac's tools had been built into Maya,
right?
And Maya was basically the tools home for everything that they've done. And around this point in the company's history, they decided to put a more renewed focus on tools and building more tools in-house, rather than being so dependent on Maya.
Now, as a independent developer, which Insomniac is, it really pays off to own your own tools and engine, because it's kind of a insurance policy, right? Like if Insomniac had ever fallen out with Sony for some reason, they would still own the technology and they would still be able to make games with it.
Right.
So it's kind of a good investment.
And so around this time, they decided it was really worth it, correctly, to put a larger focus on tools and building up more things in-house that we could greater customize and improve our tools chain with. and there's the Inferno crate. And so around this time, we hired a dedicated tools programmer, and he was in charge of making our new level editing tool that was developed as this was going on. And this level was our test bed for how our workflow was actually going to go. And that comes with a lot of pros and a lot of cons, as you can imagine. Because, I mean, it's...
I'm sorry, keep going.
And, you know, so there's a lot of good things in that whenever you had an idea of how to do something better, you had a chance to really try to make it better and try to handle all the other stuff. The downside, of course, is that it is a work-in-progress tool.
Yes.
And there's a lot of features that will not be there, you know, day one, and that you have to work around bugs and problems that come up.
Right, like for example, the memory management feature might not be there, and so the tool will crash every 2 hours.
As a hypothetical, yes, that is something that can happen.
Of course didn't happen. That happened on the next game, I think. Wait, no, that was just... Okay, I'm going to tell this story because it's hilarious. So Colin was the designer on this level. And so he was the only person in the company who had to use Phoenix at this point. Everyone else.
Well, me and Colin, both of us.
Yeah. He was. Yeah, you two poor bastards. And and so I had to go into this level for some reason. I think I was setting up the flying birds, and I noticed that when I left the level by clicking the little X, you know, for Windows close, that it would save nothing, right? And so I just said out loud, I was like, oh, in Phoenix, if you close it with the X, it doesn't save anything. And Colin, who was sitting next to me, just went, what? I'm like, what? Did you lose something? And he's like, I've been doing that all day. and I started laughing so hard. It was just the look of absolute panic and despair on his face. It was sad because he lost his entire day's work, but I still laugh because he was so sad.
Right, so that's one of the potential downsides of using
a brand new untested tool. Yes. But generally speaking, you know, you want to run into bugs in the game software, not bugs in your tool software. And if you're making a tool, you're running into both. I think this was actually stuff like that was what prompted the company to hire tools testers, which we hadn't had up to that point. Like Paul Hale, I think at that point was a tools tester, right? Or was he still in QA?
I think he became, after this game, he became a tools tester, but I'm not exactly certain.
Got it. And after this game, we made the entirety of Deadlocked in Phoenix, and like all the games after that were Phoenix until they upgraded to their next tool.
Right.
I don't remember why it was called Phoenix. I think it had something to do with like it being a new version of another tool that failed, and so it was rising from the ashes or something.
Okay, sure, I'll take that.
That's the best I can offer you.
You having a good time?
I love that monkey.
Scrunch?
Again, the one-eyed monkey I think is a little borderline.
You think so?
A little bit. I mean, there's another really bad borderline joke coming up.
Oh, what was the really bad borderline joke?
We'll get there. I mean, we'll get to it. I'm certain. So the Path of Death, also Jared Putman, this was another one of his big features for the game. In addition to those big battlefields, he does these little obstacle course levels that we see a few times throughout the game. Hopefully, I'm not going to make any promises, but hopefully a guest on one of our future podcasts to help share his perspective.
Oh, fuck these rocks. Sorry.
We're going to get very soon to the Ratchet and Clank 3 Up Your Arsenal Snow Beast Award winner. That's coming up very soon.
The second annual Snow Beast Award.
The second annual Snow Beast Award winner. Which actually caused a bit of controversy this time around, because the winner was not me.
And the winner probably
was very reluctant
to
accept the award. Yeah.
And maybe we can get him on the podcast too.
Hopefully. We'll get him. Hopefully we can get him to talk about his contribution and see if he still feels a little bit sore about it.
Oh god.
I love that fire effect. That is a great fire effect.
I love that it has a point light attached to it. Like, we never did that in Ratchet 2.
It's expensive, man. It is expensive.
If I remember correctly, you could only have 4 of those going at a time total in the whole game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was not something we did lightly. Oh god.
Yeah, this was our other big bolt grindy thing that we introduced into this game, and I mean, I really liked them. I thought this was really interesting.
The obstacle, like for Annihilation Nation and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good idea. I think Colin designed all these.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Colin designed like most of this game.
He had a lot to do on this game. I would say we were going to get Colin on, but he wouldn't do this. No, it would be impossible.
Now, tell us what you know about Dr. Nefarious. Nefarious.
It's funny because
He's the only man to ever be.
I mean, I'm sure if he listens to this, he'll be like, yeah, I'm never going to. So I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here.
He brought, yeah. Oh. Quark has a beard, I forgot.
This was my boss fight. I want to say my first big boss fight that I ever did.
Oh, right.
But I'm probably wrong.
Was this a good boss fight? Do you remember?
It's a short boss fight. I don't know what that means. Maybe that means it's good. Maybe that means it's bad. I don't know.
I suppose if I'm glad it's short, then it's good. And if I'm fuck that.
When you get that kind of reaction, you know it's good, right?
Like, fuck you, boss. I hate you and everything you stand for.
Yeah, there's not a lot going on in this boss fight. It's very simple. I mean, you can't open up with a hugely complicated boss fight.
He feels mini-boshish, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, that boomerang.
Oh, the fact that you died, that means it's a good boss fight.
You know what? I'm gonna call that the bullshit-orang. You know what? I just got act-tuned. Those crates weren't around the first time.
Yeah, they were. They were in the cutscene.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, they were. You just don't pay attention.
I don't think. You know what? I'm sorry, Tony. You probably put a lot of hard work into making those crates appear.
So, this was actually kind of funny. So those crate spawners were written by Moo for one of the levels that we're about to come up to. And when he first wrote the crate spawners, he didn't expect them to be reused in other levels.
Of course not, because what was?
Why would you? And I needed to put crate spawners in this level, so I was like, oh, Moo already wrote them. I'm just going to take them, and I'm just going to add some little extra bits of code so they do what I want them to do in my thing. And so I took his crate spawner, and in the code I wrote like if level equals 2. This was numbered level 2 in our production.
Right, we did them out of order.
Yeah. And so I was like, if level is 2, do my special behavior. And this was like our first set of levels that we were doing in the game. And I was doing this. And Moose saw I wrote this in his code, and he was so mad at me. He was like, it's 1 month into production, and you're writing hacks in the game. Slow it down, brother. It's not time for hacks. But it's always time for hacks as far as I'm concerned.
It's always, you know what? That's our next t-shirt or wallpaper. It's always time for hacks, Tony Garcia.
It's always time. That's right.
Wow, is that the end of this level already?
That was the end of Florana.
Wow, I guess that means that we're done with the episode.
I guess that is what it means.
That's sad.
So,
I'm sorry to go, but...
Well, there'll be another episode, ideally.
Oh my god! When?
Well, who knows? When it's out there, though, people will be excited.
I hope it's soon.
So, for Ratchet and Clank, Up Your Arsenal, developer commentary, I'm Tony Garcia.
And I'm Mike Stout, and
we will see you next time.
Yes, we will. Alright. I'm going to finish recording this cutscene, but, stop the audio.
With a Mavix Fireball Pro controller, VR headset, and a zero-G dance pad attachment.
Will you marry me?
Well, you've obviously had an exhausting trip. Why don't you stop by your quarters? We prepared a custom living area for Quark, so he won't get in your way. Come meet me on the bridge when you're ready.